Hello and welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. Today on the show, we are doing another What's Your Problem episode where we put out a poll on the Joinery Business Facebook group for all our members to vote on what they'd like us to talk about on this week's episode. And unsurprisingly, this week we've gotten that people are wanting to find good people. Now, this is a topic we get quite a bit on the Joinery Business Podcast and just in general at the Joinery Coach. People want to know how they find better staff, how do they improve their staff. And it's a topic we try to tackle quite a bit because it's a very common issue. Even last year, we did a podcast episode about this with Nigel and Tiffany. But this week, Bruce decided to sit down and kind of really buckle down on this, and he's broken it up into three different topics within this topic. This week we're starting on topic number 1. So point 1 within the podcast that Bruce is going to talk about is around creating good people development systems, and that'll create better staff retention and make your business seem more attractive to better workers. If you have any questions about today's episode, be sure to jump on over to the Joinery Business Hub on Facebook. Now, without further ado, let's jump into today's episode.
Hey, it's Bruce from the Joinery Coach and the Joinery Business Podcast. Coming at you again live today with one of these hard-hitting, fact-filled, fun, and eventful podcasts. So I thought I'd address an ongoing conversation that we have a lot. If you don't know much about us, so this might be the first podcast you've listened to or watched, at the Joinery Coach, we work with businesses that build kitchen cabinets, commercial millwork, commercial shop fit, furniture, staircases, basically work with wood or board or anything like that. So we've been in this industry for a long time and worked across many different countries, in fact. So we get a little bit of a good cross-section of what's happening out in the industry broadly. And we often if you're not already in our Facebook group, it's the Joinery Business Hub. And we often ask in the group, what's the thing you need most help with right now? Sometimes we make a poll. And let's say we get the top 3 or the top 5 things that people ask for help around. Now, there is one thing that just continues to pop up all the time. People continue to want help finding good people. And so this topic, you can jump onto Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, any of those sort of platforms. And you will probably see, if you look at kitchen cabinet or joinery type businesses, a vast number of them saying, I'm just looking for good people. And you can also sort of read the approach to this. And it's often quite an interesting approach because we might see a cabinet business owner going, is there anybody looking to do installation work today? Looking for this person. And it could be, they literally said, anyone. And I often see that same business in a month or 2 months from now doing the same thing over and over and over again because that person doesn't work out. So we know with a very high degree of certainty that the approach that most in the industry use just simply isn't working because we just see the same businesses continuing to look for good people over and over and over again. You know what I mean? It's if that approach actually worked, we wouldn't see a problem. But there clearly is a sort of a problem there. So the alternative to this is we do work with businesses very, very closely, very intimately on this. And we also have a marketing agency. You might not be aware that we have an agency called the Marketing Joint. In that marketing agency, we not only help people attract new clients, we would also help someone attract new talent to their business. So we work in the trenches on this topic. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to give you 3 tips around how to solve this problem using a different approach to what you might currently be using. So that current approach, if you're following the industry trends or what most people do, it's going out and finding good people, that hunt, I've got to go out and find people or hunt people down mode. So I'm just going to talk to you today about 3 alternatives or 3 new approaches to this, or 3 things to think about. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth today on topic 1, but then over the next little while, we're going to have a series around these 3 topics. So today I'm going to go a little bit in depth into topic 1, but in the coming podcast, we're going to go into 2 and 3 a little bit more detail. How to find good people. That's the topic. That's the topic that most people will say, yes, I want to find good people. But there's 3 really clear things that we need to do differently around the thinking on this, first of all. So the first point that I want people to think about is, do you actually have, so this is a question you can ask yourself, think about this as a yes or no answer. Do you have a system in your business that is a people development system? A system in your business that actually looks at your current people and develops them into good people. So rather than thinking about finding good people, what I'm going to encourage everybody to think about is, how do you find the good in your people? Is that something you're actually doing right now? Because oftentimes when we take on a new client, we'll often look at their current team and go, well, we've got some amazing people here that could be doing this work. And then maybe we don't need these new people. So efficiencies is one thing around the people that you have, maybe encouraging them to get better. So finding the good in your current people is really, really important. And one of the ways that can be done is having a process that they follow, maybe improved. But that's number one. People development systems that's intentionally designed to find the good in the people that you currently have, or develop them into good. Because if you're saying that the current people you have aren't good, we've got to turn them into good. That's the first point. The second thing that we want to talk about is, if you were to look at your business from the outside in, if you were somebody that didn't know anything about your business, forget about the fact that you're the owner of the business and you know the name of it and you know all the things about it. Pretend that you are a new person seeing your business for the very first time out there in the world somewhere. Would your business appear to be a place that you would want to work from the outside looking in, not seeing anything at all, not knowing anything at all about your business? You've just glanced at it for the first time. And we need to keep really clear about this. When you're looking for good people, so let's just say the stars aligned and that unicorn that you're looking for, that good person that you're wanting to find, let's just say that the stars aligned and they actually paid attention to you saying, we're hiring and we're looking for good people. And they looked at your business, they looked at your website, they looked at your Instagram page, they looked at your Twitter, they looked at all the stuff that represents your business. Would you actually be a place that they would want to go to? It's critically important that you assess yourself really, really critically here, because there are all kinds of good people out there in the world. Here's the harsh reality about this one. These people are probably already employed. So if you're actually looking for a good person to join your business, the most likely thing that's going to happen here is you're going to have to find them from another business somewhere. So you're going to have to engage in some sort of a strategy, just like a marketing strategy. So do you have anything like that happening in your business is the first point. Do you have any sort of a marketing strategy to actually attract great talent to your business? And when you did attract them to your business, do you actually appear to be a better place to be than the place they're currently in? Point 3, most people who are looking to change jobs actually look at the leadership in that business first. They might look at the manager that they're going to work for or the owner of the business. Usually they look at the owner of the business first, because they know that in most joinery business situations, all roads leads back to the owner, right? So it's usually the owner that's going to guide them and all that sort of thing. So critically assess yourself now is point 3. Are you a leader that people would want to follow? Are you actually somebody that the broad number of people that know you would want to be mentored by? It's a harsh question, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, can you actually say that your team really want you to mentor them and they're really proud to say, I work for this person and he mentors me? And if that's not the case, we've got some work to do here on your own self-development as a leader to your business and broadly the people that you want to bring into your business. So those are the 3 points. So number 1 is, do you have a people development system in your business to bring good people into your, the good people that you have in your business, make them better? Are you actively putting out content in the world to make your business a place that someone would actually want to be, that's a better place than they currently are? And number 3, are you as a leader, you the owner of the business, are you actually somebody that people would want to be mentored by and led by? 3 really important thoughts, because what we see too often is business owners just trying to find a new person here and there and then bring them into the business and plopping them down in the factory and saying, there you go, build cabinets. And pretty soon that person looks around and says, well, this isn't any better than where I was. And I don't really know what I'm doing. And I don't have good processes to follow. And they leave and find another place that might be better, because they don't even feel like the business owner is someone they want to be associated with. Let's talk a little bit more in depth around point 1. So today's podcast will be just getting you across those 3 points. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into point 1. So point 1 is building a people development system. It's not as complicated as it might sound, but it can be complicated. And, maybe it should be, because when you talk about developing humans, humans are complex. And every human has a different level of needs and stuff like that. But it's at its most basic, most rudimentary, important point is if you're a person trying to do something in a business to the level that that person needs you to do it to, and you don't have any processes to follow, and there's no guidelines for you to follow from the business itself, you're probably a little scared. You're probably a little worried that you're not doing things the right way. You're not doing things to the level that they should be done by. And that whole mindset takes you away from focusing on being a good employee. So when you talk about a human or a person development system in your business, it comes down to, is there some sort of structure to how people work for you? Is there some sort of written guidelines that they know, yes, this is acceptable, no, this isn't acceptable? Businesses should have a couple of things in them at the base level of a business. There should be some business policies to say, when you work for us in this business, this is acceptable and this isn't acceptable. And there's a whole vast array of things that are going to be around business policies. But people that represent your business should know what you find acceptable and what you don't find acceptable. How do we communicate in the workforce? Those sorts of things, business policy. So there should be something there at the very least. There should be some pages around business policies. The second thing that is really important is around the procedure for people to do the work. When you think about it, bringing an employee into your business and teaching them how to do what you want them to do is really the same as any learning environment where that person coming in wants to learn, wants to know, how do you want it done? And if there's nothing written, if there's no structure for them to follow, it's just going to be you telling them, or maybe your manager telling them. And the fact of the matter is, if you've ever been in this situation before where you've had someone talking at you, telling you, and then you have to remember what they said, all of a sudden you're now not a good person because you can't remember what they said, and you certainly don't do what they said very well because you can't remember it. Humans don't just simply remember things the first time. But unfortunately, in our industry, that happens a lot. In fact, there was a post that I saw the other day in one of the Facebook groups saying, we're looking for someone to assemble cabinets. You're going to come into our business. We're going to show you once, and then you're going to be on your own. It literally said that. And this highlights the fact that most joinery business owners don't understand humans. They don't understand how to develop humans into good people. Therefore, we see out in the marketplace businesses looking for good people, not really knowing how to develop the people they have. And certainly because of that, what happens is other people don't want to be associated with that business. So it becomes a little bit of a knock-on effect. Think about it in these terms. If your employees were at a barbecue talking to their friends, would they say the place they work at is amazing and they would recommend to their friends, if they're looking for a job, to come and work here? It's a yes or a no question. If your employees would not promote your business as a place that their friends should come and work, then we have a problem. So that's point number one. I'd love to hear some feedback on it. This podcast is not going deep into the weeds, but it does touch on the surface of things. And we'd love to follow on these conversations in the Facebook group. Or if you'd like to open up a conversation with me, jump on the website, book a chat, and we can go from there. The other thing I'd mention is if you'd like a slightly different perspective or a slightly different touch on this, Nigel and Tiffany did a podcast a few months ago. So go back to season 4, episode 30, and you will see a great conversation between Nigel and Tiffany around this specific topic. But for now, I'll leave you with point number 1, and you've got 3 points to talk about. In the coming episodes, we're going to talk about point 2 and 3, a little bit more detail. But if you'd like to learn a little bit more about what I've talked about today, or even just have a quick conversation, don't be afraid to reach out, and I'd be more than happy to have a chat. Have an awesome day. Bruce from the Joinery Coach. Peace out.